A keycard clicks. Fluorescent lights buzz. Somewhere upstairs, the crowd is still chanting, but you're already in the back rooms where games get translated into numbers and silence. In this league, information moves faster than highlights and it never stays clean for long. This is your life, level by level, inside NBA intelligence. Level 1: The Rookie Statistician. Where numbers barely scratch the surface. The office is a converted storage room behind the arena's service hallway. Beige walls. A metal desk that wobbles. Stacks of VHS tapes labeled in black marker. Chi at NYK 1/12, road trip 3rd Q clips. You log minutes, rebounds, foul counts, and plus-minus by hand on dot matrix printouts. The VCR chews tape if you rewind too fast. You make coffee in a stained percolator and learn the rhythm. Game ends, locker room clears, coaches want a packet by morning. You tell yourself it's just basketball. You tell yourself the numbers can't lie. You tell yourself your job is neutral. Then your supervisor slides a folder across the desk: certain splits, certain clips, internal only. Not for broadcast, not for beat writers, not even for some assistants. You start noticing the gap between performance and reputation. A guy who hustles, but never rotates, a star who vanishes in fourth quarters. You realize the league has two scoreboards, and you're hired to work on the one the public never sees. Level 2: Video Analyst in the Shadows. When gathering intel becomes a high-stakes game. Now you sit closer to the loading dock, where equipment cases roll by and security radios crackle all day. 2 monitors. A timecode generator. A card of fresh tapes: game film, practice film, and clips that aren't meant to exist. You tag possessions, but you also tag moments. A player arriving late to shoot around, eyes glassy under the fluorescent training room lights. A quick argument with a trainer that ends when you walk in. You tell yourself it's routine. You tell yourself you're protecting the team. You tell yourself noticing isn't the same as accusing. A task force guy starts showing up in a blazer with no team logo. He asks for copies with specific timestamps. Not dunks. Not pick and roll coverages. Hallway footage. Tunnel angles. Who shakes whose hand after the game. You're told to keep it off the checkout sheet and label it MISC. Your access grows, so does the quiet fear that every frame you log is a fingerprint you can't wipe off. Level 3: The Information Broker. Your data isn't just numbers, it's power. You're no longer printing packets for coaches. You're building briefs for executives: 2 pages, stapled clean, delivered by hand. The language changes. Exposure, risk, narrative control. A small conference room becomes your world, with a speakerphone that's always warm and a legal pad that never leaves your pocket. You tell yourself this keeps the league stable. You tell yourself you're preventing chaos. You tell yourself the fans don't need every ugly detail. You get shown an unofficial watch list: names typed, no letterhead, updated quietly after road trips. Rumors become categories: reliable source, pending test, monitor associates. Then a star goes down an overdose, whispered first through security, then through front offices before it hits any newsroom. You're instructed to leak selectively. A friendly reporter gets a conditioning issue. Another gets a family matter. You watch truth get edited like film. At this level, you don't just measure reality, you decide which version is allowed to breathe. You've learned to count, to tag, to filter. The next levels don't ask for better analysis, they ask for decisions. And once you start deciding, someone always pays for it. Level 4: Inner Circle Intelligence Operative. You don't collect information anymore, you run it. Your badge opens doors that used to stay locked. Executive elevator. Security office. Visiting locker room corridor with the camera domes that never blink. You sit in a windowless suite near legal, where the air smells like toner and carpet glue and the phones have no labels. You build the intel map now. Who a player travels with, which hotel floors get requested, which promoters always seem to find the team bus. You keep a binder of photocopied IDs, pager numbers, and handwritten notes from arena security in Phoenix, Detroit, Oakland. You tell yourself it's just prevention. You tell yourself it's just documentation. You tell yourself nobody gets hurt if you're precise. But precision means procedures. You coordinate wellness checks that are really searches. You push for off-the-books urine cups delivered through a trainer who owes the front office. You quietly reroute a rookie's roommate assignment because the wrong veteran mentors too hard. You learn the real product isn't basketball. It's controllable chaos boxed, sealed, and sold as entertainment. Level 5: The Crisis Manager. When the story breaks, you decide what survives. It hits at 2:13 a.m. because disasters love empty hours. A call from the team hotel. A name, a room number, a security supervisor whispering like the walls can listen. You're in a taxi with a legal briefcase before anyone's coffee is brewed. In the hallway, the carpet is loud under your shoes. The door has a chain that's been cut clean. Inside, towels on the floor, an ice bucket, a half-crushed can of soda, and a duffel bag you're not supposed to open but you do anyway. You tell yourself you're protecting livelihoods. You tell yourself you're preventing panic. You tell yourself the truth can wait until it's useful. You call 3 people in order: team counsel, league security, a trusted intake nurse who knows how to keep a chart. Then you draft the first statement on hotel stationery: illness, dehydration, precautionary. You decide which teammate gets pulled aside and told what to say, and which one gets told nothing. At this level, you don't stop the fire, you pick which rooms it's allowed to burn. Level 6: The Fixer. You don't manage crises anymore, you erase their edges. Your office isn't in the arena now. It's a borrowed suite near the airport with neutral art and a fax machine that never sleeps. You keep 2 calendars, one for meetings, one for moves, and you travel with a garment bag and a locked case that never gets checked. You sit across from people who don't wear team gear: retired detectives, private lab reps, hotel managers, a publicist who can kill a segment with one phone call. You bring envelopes. You take signatures. You trade favors measured in silent units: one photo, one test result, one flight manifest. You tell yourself you're keeping the season intact. You tell yourself you're shielding players from themselves. You tell yourself this is how grown-up organizations work. Sometimes fixing means relocating a problem. A quiet assignment to a rehab program in a suburb outside Minneapolis. A sudden family emergency that justifies a private plane. Sometimes it means turning a friend into a distance, cutting access, revoking credentials, letting someone else take the fall. You become the league's stain remover, and stains always demand fresh fabric. The higher you climb, the less you touch the game itself. You touch hallways. You touch paperwork. You touch the thin space between an event and the story told about it. You still hear the crowd through concrete, but it sounds like weather, loud, distant, unbothered. And in the quiet after every fix, you feel it. The numbers were never the secret. The silence was.